I'm going to show you the exact rhythms I use across all of my businesses. And by the end of this video, you're going to have something simple that you can put in place straight away. Running a business means sometimes the numbers slip. I get it. You get busy, life gets in the way. I'm a dad, I'm a multi-business owner. I live the same lifestyle as well. And it's not going off track that matters. It's not having a system in place to bring you back on track that you need. 2 hours a month is genuinely all it takes to know your cash position, whether or not you're profitable, and what you should be focusing on next. Let's get into it. So when I look at the financial rhythms that are running inside my business, there's 3 key elements to it, or 3 key cadences going on. There's weekly, we're looking at our cash flow. We're understanding our cash position and what our cash runway is and asking some key strategic questions there. Monthly, we're checking in on our financial statements. That's our P&L for profitability, our balance sheet to understand where that profit is going. And then on a quarterly rhythm, we're being more strategic. We're looking at what the numbers are actually telling us, and we're identifying what is our next right move, what should we be focusing on to get to where we want to go. So let's break down each of those 3 cycles one at a time. Let's take a look at the first one. That's the weekly rhythm. And what we're looking at there is our cash flow forecast. Now, when it comes to our cash flow forecast, this is one of the most valuable tools that any business owner can have in place. So much so, I've shot a whole other YouTube video about that. You can find that on our channel here, how to get a cash flow forecast in place for your business. So cash is that vitally important element within your business that you must have in order to stay alive. I always liken cash to being the blood pulse inside your body. If your body doesn't have a blood pulse, you're dead, unfortunately. Same story with your business. Doesn't matter if you're really sick or really healthy, the pulse is a vital metric to stay alive. Same in business. You can have periods of making losses, unhealthy, making great profits, being healthy. But independent from that is making sure you have enough cash to pay the bills as and when you need to so that you can stay in the game. So when it comes to looking at our cash flow forecast, what's really important here, there's 2 strategic questions that we want to use our cash flow to look at. And that first one is all about staying alive. And that's just understanding, if I'm looking at my forecast the coming weeks ahead, what is my next low point? How low does it get? Why does it get down to there? Like understanding the key ins and outs that are dictating why that is the low point and when it's occurring, because that is the most riskiest or dangerous part in terms of your business survivability, in terms of your cash flow. If you don't have one, you'll be a business owner who's doing this same process, but doing it mentally. And you'll be carrying the load around mentally of doing that. What's in the bank account, how much is coming in, what's going out. I should be able to cover the baths, but I've got to pay the wages, but so-and-so owes me money. We're just taking all that mental load out of your head, putting it on a simple best guess scenario. And that's what a cash flow forecast is for you. And it's something you keep tweaking every week, meaning it's always your best guess. It's always relatively accurate. And it can simply and quickly answer that question, am I safe from a cash perspective? But there's a second part to cash flow forecasting, a second really valuable part of it. And that is when it comes to growing and scaling a business, that is always going to require some kind of investment moves, like taking on a new employee, investing in marketing, buying some equipment, opening a new location. Anytime you're making any of those kind of strategic big moves to grow your business, that requires cash. Or maybe you're getting blindsided by things like there's a big repairs and maintenance bill, something's just blowing up in your business, and you need to straight away see, can I pay for this thing? Do I need to put it on a loan? And again, having your cash flow forecast there ready means you know your cash position now, you know your cash runway, you can make decisions confidently in your business day to day because you understand where the cash is at within your world. When it comes to weekly cash flow forecasting, what we want to be doing is, honestly, this should be 10 minutes per week looking at your cash flow forecast to stay completely on top of cash flow. And if I just draw that little picture in here, this is what that looks like. Once a week exercise. In my world, we're always looking at a cash flow forecast on a Monday because we're updating for last week's results, Monday to Sunday. They're reconciled and updated for actuals in the forecast, and we look at it on a Monday. We've actually coined it Money Mondays. It's a simple little diary reminder, Monday afternoon in the calendar, quick check-in on the cash flow forecast. I have multiple businesses that I own. I spend probably on average 2 minutes per one looking at it. So within 10, 20 minutes, I've looked at multiple businesses' cash flows. I really have a tight handle on exactly where cash is at, where cash is going, which means I can answer any questions, or I can just feel confident or safe about what's going on in the business. Or if there's any risks, I've identified them really early and we know exactly what to focus on. On a monthly cycle, we're looking at our P&L, which is all about profitability of the business. Are we winning? Are we making money or are we losing money? And we're taking a look at our balance sheet, which is our financial resources and where we're at. But from my perspective, balance sheets tell us where is the profit going. We want to understand if we're making profit, should be going into my balance sheet. Can I see it? Where is it? Is it being retained in the business or is it leaking out of the business? Take those financial statements. Do not look at them like the long, boring accounting statements that they are. Instead, condense them down into just the headline categories that matter and look at them visually. Now, there's again another video on our YouTube channel here all about how to simplify your financials, which explains to you which categories to collapse them down to and how to look at them visually on a chart, because looking at a picture of your financials, again, makes this so much quicker and easier to do. I can look at the financial statements for our businesses per business, 30 minutes maximum to have a complete understanding of how the business is performing profitability wise, where are we winning, where are we losing, where are the biggest opportunities. Can easily and quickly see exactly what's going on. Is it trending up, trending down? And then equally looking at our balance sheet in the same light, i.e. a color-coded chart, means I can easily see how we position financially. Where is the profit going? Are we keeping it in the business? Is it leaking out of the business? Are we paying down debt? What does our net working capital position look like? What's our tax bills look like? We can see all of those things long in advance and projected through a simple clarity report. This is maximum 30 minutes per month. And we do that through looking at what we refer to as a clarity report, essentially just color-coded charts of your financial statements. And when you're looking at those on a monthly basis, that's where you're actually seeing the big picture, not just cash flow, but you're seeing the big picture of, are we actually winning, yes or no? Question has been asked, like, why would I look at it monthly? Why not weekly? Why not quarterly? So why not weekly? It's too zoomed in. There's many costs that are incurred in your business, which are kind of on a monthly basis, things like the rent, those kind of stuff, which is going on. So monthly is the right cadence to be able to match the income and the expenses against each other. Absolutely, you can be looking at key indicators that drive your P&L on a weekly basis. So you might have monthly targets for revenue. You could divide that by 4 and say that's our weekly target. And then you're checking the sales each week to see how that's going along. But when it comes to looking at kind of the big zoomed out picture of your financials, monthly is the right cadence. It's just enough cadence to be able to understand clearly, are we making profit? Are things on track? How are we going compared to our targets? Good month, bad month? And where is that profit going at any point in time? You always want to understand the big picture of your financial position, which we get from our balance sheet. Okay, the third and final one is the quarterly rhythm. Now, what we're doing on a quarterly basis is we are being strategic with our numbers. And again, I've shot a whole video, which you can find on here. How do we run our quarterly process? What it's all about, the quarterly process is taking a look at the numbers for the last quarter, zoom out, take a bigger picture, and understand what's going on in your business. So our quarterly rhythm actually has 4 key steps within it. The first one is looking backwards, understanding exactly what's going on for the last quarter, how we're positioned. We really want to understand exactly how the business is performing financially. Step number 2 or 4 is where we actually look long-term. Where do we want to go in 5 years from now? What is the bigger picture or the bigger purpose and vision for this business? What are we actually aiming for? And then from there, step number 3, we bring that back. If that's what we're aiming for in 5 years, what would 12 months from now need to look like? So we're really clear on how fast and what direction we should be moving in over this next year. And then from there, step number 4, we go from 12 months down to 1 quarter. And so we're looking at the next quarter and we're getting really clear based on our numbers, how we're performing, what our financial position looks like, what are we actually aiming for big picture, medium term, therefore what is our goals short term, and what should we be focusing on this quarter? Like I said, there's a whole other YouTube video there explaining exactly how we do that process in detail, which numbers we look at, how we map them out. But it's this process, this quarterly process, that enables us to get really clear what is the theme for the next quarter? What is the objective for the next quarter? Is this next quarter about cost control? Is it about increasing sales? Is it about getting more out of our team? Is it about opening a new location? What is the next right step for us? Based on how we're performing and what resources we've got and where we want to get to, what is it that we're focusing on the next quarter? And that's what's going on quarterly when we're doing the strategic quarterly process. The simple analogy for this one I give, again, is if you're sailing a boat from Sydney to LA, this process is like every now and again, you've got to have that big picture look. Oh, that's right. We're aiming to get to LA. We've got to make sure we're heading in that direction. But when we come back to the near term looks like, how do we navigate the shallow waters of Fiji over the next couple of weeks? And what storms are coming? What's the weather that we're facing right now? What's happening in the near term quarterly perspective in our business while we're keeping an eye on where we want to be in 5 years, or how we're going to sail our boat from here to LA, which is going to take several months to get to it. That's what this process is all about. This quarterly strategic process, we allow 2 hours for this once per quarter. And that's where we go through that 4-step process. And doing that, we're using tools like, in particular, the Profit Calculator, which again, we've shot videos here of exactly how to do that. It's about understanding your numbers, where or how you're making profit now, but where would you like to be going in your next step, and getting really clear based on what the numbers are saying, what should you be focusing on for the next quarter? And looking at my little picture here, quarterly process. So imagine we're at this quarter here. What we're doing, we're taking a bit of time to look backwards, look at the results over the last quarter, get really clear about what it is we've got going on, get really clear about where are we aiming for in 5 years' time from now, and therefore set our targets, exactly what we want to see happening over the next quarter. And then when we're doing the monthly clarity report, checking on the P&L and balance sheet, essentially what we're doing, we're just keeping tabs of what's our target versus the quarterly objectives. Are we on track? Do we need to go faster or slow down on a monthly basis when we're heading towards whatever that quarterly objective is? And when you've got this set of financial rhythms in place in your business, what's happening to your business results in the background? You're going to be heading up. You're going to be growing. And it's because you're always making the next right move. You're always really clear on what resources you've got, how your business is performing, and what the next right step is to take the business forward. In truth, it is absolutely not going to do the lovely straight line that I've just drawn on the page there. What it's going to look like, it's going to look like this. You know, you're going to be tic-tacking your boat. Winds are going to be hitting you from different directions and storms and whatnot. But these are the rhythms that are putting you in place so that you don't get caught out, so that you understand your cash position, so that you understand how your business is making money right now, but more importantly, what is the next right step? What should we be focusing on for this quarter and for the long-term trajectory of our business? And this is the same system I have in place in all my businesses. This one, the Profit Analyst, this is a coaching business that I started 4 or 5 years ago now, complete startup with nothing. Here we are now, 5 years later. It's a 7-figure plus coaching business, employing 10 plus people, serving over hundreds of clients. And again, we're only just getting started. We're really clear on what we're aiming for the next 5 years. And it's this financial rhythm in place that's allowing us to move at the right pace and to constantly always be growing in the right direction. So there you have it. That's the simple financial rhythms that I run inside my businesses or any of the businesses that I've coached. This is what we help them establish inside their businesses. And what it is that we're looking at here, just a quick recap, it's just 10 minutes per week, understanding your cash flow. 30 minutes per month, understanding your profitability and where that's actually going. 2 hours per quarter, being strategic with the numbers. If we add all of those up, collectively, it's less than 2 hours per month to stay completely on top of your numbers. Always on top of your cash flow, always on top of your profitability. And more importantly, using the numbers to guide you in the right decisions and to where you're going. Unfortunately, the majority of business owners out there would be spending more than 2 hours a month just worrying about cash flow, sorting out problems and mistakes that would never have occurred if they understood their numbers well enough. This really is an incredibly fast and light and simple system to stay completely on top of the numbers side of your business. Okay, and so here's my challenge for you. I want you to go and open up your calendar right now and book these meetings in. So we're looking for just 10 minutes on a Monday afternoon to look at cash flow. We're looking at 1 hour once a month to review the P&L and balance sheet for the last month, and 2 hours once a quarter to be strategic with the numbers. Look at what's happened for the quarter and make sure we're focusing on the right things moving forward. Put this rhythm in place now, because once you do, it doesn't matter if you go off track, you've got that calendar reminder there to bring you back into line with the numbers, to recalibrate what's actually going on in your world based on your financials. If this is a system you want built properly inside your business, go to the description below for more details.